Enter into our 8,000 Christmas gem giveaway by downloading Raid, Shadow Legends, and Summoner's War and beating their tutorials. Enter into it in the description down below. Hello everybody, we are here with your Awilix guide, going to be taking her into the jungle. Right off the bat here, we're going to look at the enemy team, see how much healing they're going to be going into. So we've got Vamana, that's going to have a lot of sustain. Sukis tend to build Soul Eaters and get a little bit of sustain. We're going to have some Heim healing. Fafner's got the 2, so we're going to go into the Brawlers for our first item. They don't have a dedicated healer, but they still have a lot of sustain that we're going to have to deal with. So we'll be starting off with our tier 1 mace, health potion, hand of the gods, and of course at level 1 we are going to grab ourselves our feather step. So Moonlight Charge is also a pretty good level 1 ability. But with the lower cooldown of Feather Step, I still just prefer this. When you get that bonus damage from the larger Feather Step, I still do prefer it for the lower cooldown. It also lets you go for a quicker potential fight in the mid lane right now if you need to go for it. But you can also start with your 1. Some players do prefer to start with that 3. I'm going to be honest with you, it's really not that big of a deal because by the time you get around any other gods, you're probably going to have your 2 and your 3. So whichever way leveling them makes you feel more comfortable, it is not going to have any significant impact on your clear. I just like to get the 2. To have the feather step ready, because if you get like somebody tries to invade you or something, which doesn't really happen anymore, but just the better ability to have for that. And you'll always have your 3 as you get here in the mid lane, which you need because you want to be using your 3 right here on this wave in order to help your mid laner clear. Now Awilix does have a pretty good early game fight, so you don't have to give up anything early. Like I see a Suki coming to me, I'm going to use my feather step to avoid his disarm. I'm going to body block him, use my 3 to knock him up, and we're going to grab ourselves a little first blood or first blooded. You do not want to fight into an Awilix early. There's basically nobody that wins that trade, so you gotta be super duper careful. Anybody that is reliant on one damaging big ability tends to struggle against Awilix. So like Suki, really easy to avoid his 2 stun with your feather step because you have those immunity frames when you are actually in the feather step. Same concept for a god like Thanatos, trying to bait out a Thanatos scythe. The second you think he's going to use it, you preemptively feather step. You can avoid stuff like that. So you got to be careful when you're going against Awilix, because if she feather steps an ability early, I mean that's pretty much all your damage. So you got to be really careful. Level 4, we're going to grab our 1. This is mostly used as a movement ability throughout the jungle, so we're going to help us get to various camps faster. Wow, my auto tag didn't go off. A lot of the times on Awilix's 1, you're actually not going to use the jump itself. You're just going to hop off and right click. So if you use the jump on this ability and you use the leap, it's going to go on that 15-second cooldown. If you actually just right click, it's not going to go on cooldown at all. And so for our specific purposes of just trying to use it to run around the jungle and farm more, most of the time we're actually not going to use the jump. We just want the bonus movement speed so we can get around and get to our farming more quickly. That is basically our only goal, is to utilize it for more farming purposes. Gonna grab our warrior tabi, and then we're gonna get ourselves right into that brawler's basic that we talked about. So against this comp, you can see they really don't have any jumps. So when we're picking Awilix, there's 2 things we really want to see. We really want to see leaps on the enemy team to pair with our ultimate, and we really want to see gods with knockups on our team. So on our team, we've actually got a decent set of knockups. Kukulkan's ultimate does knock up. Nike has her jump, which knocks up. And Mulan has her ulti, which does have a knock-up portion on that second part of that ultimate. So we actually have quite a few knock-ups to work with. Unfortunately, on the other team, we really don't have any leaps to work with. So there's nothing that really they can cast / do that is going to put them in a position where they can get grabbed by my ulti. So we are going to be fairly reliant on the team. I'm not going to use my 3 right here. So the longer that I don't use my 3, the more that he just has to be afraid that I'm going to do it. And so I'm just going to kind of wait until here at the very end. I should be able to pick up this kill. I'm not going to use my 1 for the leap. I'm going to hop right on off of it, land myself an auto attack, and then I'm going to start to run away again. So right there, he was consciously aware the entire time that if I 3'd him and got the knock-up, he was going to die. And so he kept having to turn around and look at me and turn around and look at me and turn around and look at me. And so sometimes it's better to bait the fact that you have the ability than it necessarily is to just use it. Because in that same situation, if I throw out my 3 and it happens to be at the time that he's turning around and looking back at me, then all he has to do is just hold down the W key and walk away. Because I didn't use it, I'm just kind of sitting there baiting it the entire time. It stops him from just running away in a straight line. Allows Kukulkan to get there. All sorts of stuff to break out, and we grab the kill. Also on that kills chase, I absolutely did not need to use the actual jump on my 1. So I just hopped off, landed the auto, so that way I could hop right back on it and use it as a getaway skill. If you use it offensively, that's fine, but just keep in mind you're not going to be able to use it as a defensive skill, and it's going to give you all that nice bonus movement speed to help you get away from trouble. So oftentimes I like to use it for the getaway more than I like to use it for the actual initiation. Try to use your blink for the actual initiation. For matchups in the jungle for Awilix, we talked about it a little bit, but she likes to go against gods that she can really mess up by dodging one of their abilities. So ability-based assassins in general, Awilix tends to do good against. She can also really do good against gods that are reliant on one particular CC, because she can avoid the CC as well with her feather step. So like we said, a god like Thanatos, because you can just avoid that one hit big time ability. She actually struggles more against the gods that are not reliant on a singular ability. So a lot of times the auto attack based assassins she has a little bit of harder time with, because like, oh no, you dodged an auto attack, like who cares? And so you have to be careful against those. Those are not super meta right now. The Kali's and Arachnes and Mercuries and stuff, they're not super meta, so you don't really have to worry about it. To be fair, Awilix isn't super meta right now because she does not work particularly well with the hybrid kind of meta builds going around. I do recommend building Awilix as a traditional damagey assassin. She still has that big one-shot potential that she is known for. So really embrace the damage. We're going to have a lot of power, pen, cooldown, that kind of stuff. Not going to be the more Prid Vinny, Glad Shield, Sledge type build that you're seeing pop up everywhere. She just doesn't really thrive with it. If you were going to run an Awilix solo with support, first off, I would say don't. But if you're not going to listen, those items would still probably be your best go-to, but just not for in the jungle.
Be right back.
So Agni dashed in right here. I saw the Fafnir ulti as well. I'm going to blink in. I'm going to look right over here. What I really want right now is the Agni, but because I know the Fafnir is going to have to jump, I'm actually just saving my ultimate there for the Agni. And because I'm not going to be able to reach him without using my 1 for the jump, I go ahead and use the 1 for the jump right there to pick up the kill. Now, I know that Agni is a half HP middle. I don't know if he has a ward up here, but if he doesn't, what I would really like to do is just blink in and then 3, 2. Blink in, 3, and a 2. And we're going to be able to get that instant kill. So with your feather step, most of the time you want to wait until you get to that 2 times progression. That is really what you want to be waiting for. So like when you're clearing the camp, you're just waiting for this big AoE, big damaging play. When you're going for the kills though on enemy gods, if they're going to be within the kill range early, then you just want to land on them. So you can just like jump in and then immediately just slap your 2 and you will instantly go into that feather step. If you're afraid that they're going to use a getaway ability, but you're going to be able to kill them with a real quick feather step, there is absolutely no reason why you cannot just go into the immediate feather step. You're only waiting for it if you're trying to dodge an ability or if you're just trying to maximize the damage because the ability isn't going to actually kill them. For our third item, we're going to be going into an Erendite. I love Erendite as a third item just in general. The power that you get from it, the CDR, and the passive are so strong on pretty much every assassin. It really is kind of a perfect assassin jungle item. One thing that we should mention that people always seem to forget is that gods like Hades and Scylla do in fact get pulled by Awilix. So anybody that goes under the floor, that is still considered a leap. And leaps is what Awilix pulls with her ultimate. So any form of you basically being in the air where you're not CC immune. And so Hades and Scylla, those guys that go underneath the floor, they do count. And so while they are in that leap animation, it gets them over a wall, which means you can yoink them right on out of it. So don't forget that you can, in fact, pull them. I see that my Nike's in trouble right now, so I'm going to use my 1 to start giving me some movement speed to head over there. They stopped that fight. So I'm actually going to head in towards this Suki. I'm going to blink in, try to hit him with the 3. Not going to quite land on him. I'm going to use that feather step to avoid the damage from the Agni bomb. I know that Agni is through here to the middle. I'm actually just going to sit right here, and I'm going to try to hit him with the 3. Not going to land, but I should be able to jump over this wall. Ooh, I think he actually knew that I was coming, so I was unable to reach him. Now I got to be very careful back here. I'm just going to kind of walk this way. He's probably going to try to dash through me. That's fine. I don't want to stick around for this fight any longer. Oh my goodness, what a good ulti from our Kukulkan. I have overstayed my welcome. I have gotten a little too greedy. And so I'm going to get myself right on out of here. Throw down a little ward there on the Gold Fairy. Make sure we have the vision. In general on Awilix, she is not super reliant on her ultimate to make a successful gank. So a lot of gods like Thor, Ratatasker, etc., you're really waiting for their ultimate to be up. And when their ultimate is up, that is when you can go for the gank. On Awilix, because of just the raw damage output that you have, you can actually get yourself ganks at any time that your regular set of abilities is up. You've got the bonus movement speed from the 1. You've got the leap that it provides to get over walls. As long as you have your blink up with that 2, bada bing, bada boom. So you don't need to be waiting around for your ulti. Now your ultimate is nice for your ganks. It is certainly convenient, but it is not a necessity. Another part about Awilix ult that a lot of times people forget about is that it is a huge, massive, and I'm talking massive stim. So on top of the fact that it's got that pull and it's got to do some damage to them, it's also a huge attack and physical power buff. And so at max level, it's 70% attack speed and 60 physical power. So what you can do is if you're gonna go do a objective or something like a Gold Fury. Oh my goodness, I gotta run away from this one. I'm going down. It was nice knowing you, boys. Holy Heim damage. That's a big boy right there. He's got a full transcendence. What you can do is you can just go ahead and use that ultimate. That's a double dead right there. And your ulti will give you that giant stim for 6 seconds. Not to mention it's also going to make you immune roots and slows and knockbacks and all this stuff. So it's actually a great ability just to use to take down a Gold Fury, a Fire Giant, a Tower, whatever, it doesn't matter. Any type of objective that you're just looking to burn down, it is going to be very, very helpful for you. So don't just use it to grab people that are jumping. Absolutely use it for the stim as well. Especially, it's going to happen in games where the enemy team doesn't have a lot of leaps. So like this game, I'm basically just sitting there and waiting for somebody on my team to knock them up, you know? And it's just absolutely not necessary for me to wait all game long to try to get it when I can just be using my ulti. Because it's on a fairly short cooldown as well. Like as far as ultis go, right now it's 68 seconds and I've only got 10% CDR. I see that Vamana has used his ultimate. Be right back. Woo! I gotta be careful here because now there's a Suki, but I do want to go for this gank. Oh no, I'm gonna go ahead and use my ulti just to make sure that I get that kill right there. Unfortunately, neither my 3 nor my auto attack actually reached him, which is just unfortunate. But we still grabbed the kill, but it wasn't a great trade because we lost the Mulan there as well. I needed that 3 to hit him because then I could have followed up with the instant Feather Step, which would have grabbed ourselves that kill, and then we could have had a nice little 2v1 against the Suki. So Suki right now, you can see, is building a pretty standard jungler build right now. He's got the Gladiator Shield, he's got the Sledge. Sometimes Sukis throw in a Soul Wader here as well. So we'll continue to see what they build. But that is a pretty standard jungler build that you're seeing right now. Just because of the raw stats that it provides you, it really is the superior build, but it's not one that Awilix can make work very well, which is why we have to go more damage oriented. It's also the reason why you don't really see Awilix getting played right now. She's been kind of pushed out of the meta by this hybrid tanky situation that we're in. And part of that too is the fact that Awilix really thrives. Okay. Awilix really thrives against squishier characters. She's all about that burst damage to bring down somebody. So like, you know, just quickly hop in and slap down the Hebo, right? Well, there's not a lot of those characters being played. You can see we've got ourselves a Fafnir, a Vamana, a Suki. So they're rocking 3 tanks. The only 2 people that are basically going to be squishy enough for me to just go try to burst down is going to be the Agni and the Heim. I have no idea how I got the knockup right there on the Agni. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be perfectly honest. I probably shouldn't have been able to get that knockup. That was pretty much looking right at his front, but sometimes, you know, Smite just gives you a little blessing, and we do not look a gift horse in the mouth. Fafnir's jump is down, so we should be able to go ahead and pick up this free kill. We force the Agni beat and Aegis, bada bing, bada boom, and we're right back to farming. Just because you're low in HP doesn't mean that you have to back. This really goes for all roles, especially if you have lifesteal or something. But as the jungler with your Assassin's Blessing, you're always going to be able to just run around and clear some camps and get a bunch of HP back. So unless you have to go back and get yourself an entire item or something, or you're really, really low, worried about somebody kind of come gank you in the jungle, try to keep farming as best as you can, because if you don't, every second that a camp isn't down, think about it this way. Every second that a camp isn't down, it's not respawning. And if a camp isn't respawning, you're missing out on farm. Always. You always want every single camp to be down, because the more that every single camp is down, the more you are actually effectively farming. If it ain't respawning, then you are wasting time. So against this team, they're going to have 3 pretty tanky characters. They got the Pridivin on Suki. Fafnir's going tanky. Vamana's going tanky. So we're going to want even more penetration this game. I'm going to grab myself a Heartseeker. Heartseeker is not an item that you see a ton of anymore, but I still do like it as a later game item on ability-based bursters. So it's going to give us 10% penetration. We've got the flat pen from our brawlers right now, and we've got 20% CDR. This is going to give us some percent pen, And there's a decent chance, depending on their builds, that we end up getting ourselves into a Titan's Bane as well. Titan's Bane actually being picked up a fair amount right now. Because of all the tankiness in the game, at the end of the day, when you need a bunch of pen, you need a bunch of pen. And that is something that Titan's Bane does provide. Now, they used a lot of stuff in us in this fight so far, so we should be able to come through and just start picking up some boys. Waiting for the Fafnir to jump. I see him jumping over the wall, so I immediately yoink him right on back to me. And you can see how fast that I'm auto-attacking right now. And that's because of that bonus stim that we get from our ultimate. So we hit extremely hard after we use that stim, and extremely fast, which is nice because it helps us get off things. Like our feather step to the bonus damage really quickly.
Be careful, right?
After you have the Hydras on Awilix, which we grabbed as our 4th item, you want to make sure that you are auto attack canceling and getting the most out of your damage. So standardly how your fight is going to start, let's say you start off on your 1 and you jump into a fight. The second you land, you want to auto attack. If you get the second auto, that is when you're going to get the AoE feather step. So depending on how much HP the target has, you jump in, you auto them, you can go immediately for that feather step. After that feather step, you auto, of course, again, and then you immediately hit him with the 3. Always make sure you're getting those Hydras procs. Every single one of your abilities is going to give you a Hydras proc. Now, it should be noted, when you hop onto your little pony and you hop off, that's not going to give you a Hydras proc. You have to actually jump in order to get that proc from the Hydras, so you can't be all sneaky cheeksy and just hopping off and on your cougar over and over and over again, thinking that you're going to get yourself a million bajillion Hydras procs. Not going to be able to be quite that cheeky. Now, it's about 20 minutes into this game. We've got a respectable lead, and so we need to start getting some wards around the fire giant because we're going to want to start looking that way. Now, I'm going to get rid of my assassin's blessing. I'm going to look at their comp. A lot of physical defense, a lot of physical defense, a lot of physical defense. They got 3 people with a bunch of physical defense, so I'm going to start getting myself right into that Titan's Bane that we talked about earlier. Titan's Bane, while stat-wise isn't the dream item, at the end of the day, 20% physical pen is nice, and your first ability cast gains an additional 20% physical penetration is really nice, especially if you can make that happen on your 3 or your 2. Gonna get a lot of bonus damage from that. I'm gonna blink in on this Agni, not using my ulti there because I did assume that he was going to use his beads and his Aegis. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm just going to get Suki ultied and die here. There's nothing much you can do about that as no Awilix. You don't have anything in your kit to avoid that from happening. So a misplay from the team here. You can see a lot of our team is on the left-hand side of the map. We did call for the fire giant because it is the fire giant o'clock, but a lot of people have not started making their way over towards the fire yet. You got to make sure that you are near those objectives, especially fire, because you need to be getting that sentry ward positioning. Once we get this Titan's Bane online for our 6th item, we will be getting rid of our Warrior Tabi, and we will be trying to get ourselves a Mantle of Discord. Mantle of Discord stun can keep you alive in a lot of risky, scary situations. If you're really feeling yourself and you're not dying very much, you can also grab yourself a Blood Forge as that 6th item. Same kind of concept. You go in, you're aggressive, you get a kill. You can use that Blood Forge to try to get out. But in general, I find that the Mantle of Discord is more helpful in more situations. Especially if you think you're going to get CC'd a lot. That Mantle of Discord getting you out of CC is awesome. So we still need to get ourselves over by this fire giant. Suki is ulted in. I'm going to jump over this wall once the Suki ult is down. I've got to back up immediately. We're still not positioning ourselves very good around this fire giant. They are getting their entire team here before we are getting our team here. which is giving them a lot of opportunities to look for things like pickoffs.
Holy shit! You're on fire!
That was incredible.
You can also see that their team does have a little bit more frontline. So while we have the Mulan and the Nike, they have the Mulan, the Nike, and the Suki. And more frontline in this meta is in fact better. So we are at a slight deficit because I am not a more frontline-y character in the jungle right now. So in this fight, I've got to kind of just sit on the side. They might look to go for a Phoenix, which we could potentially contest. I'm just going to use my one to start running me away from this Vamana. Suki is quite low. I'm just going to blink in towards this. Unfortunately, not going to hit that Agni. So I'm just going to start to run away right here. Not going to be able to contest it any longer. We've still got our tier 1, tier 2 tower up in left lane. So I'm safe to back over here near this Phoenix. Heim is going very aggressive right now. And we should have some pig-off opportunities right here. I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to try to go for the immediate feather set, but he was actually dead already. Going to use my ulti here on this Vamana and just get as much damage out on him as I can. So close to hitting him with that ultimate. I should be able to grab another knockup on him. Use my feather set to finish off the kill. And we still need to get ourselves some wards, some vision, some positioning over by the fire giant. But now the gold fury is also back up. So if they're gonna go do the gold fury, that's fine. I just need to position myself around the fire giant to make sure they don't try to do anything sneaky. Awilix at the end of the game, your job is assassinations. So I'm not looking to go head first into a fight. You can see a lot of these fights, I'm just kind of ringing around the outskirts of it. I am just looking for a poor soul to pick off, preferably that Heim and that Agni. But if the Heim and the Agni aren't in position, if there's a half HP Suki or something that I can go in for, if there's a half HP Vamana, maybe I can pull him and ulti him before he can get his ulti off. There are options right there for me. But I'm always kind of playing around the outskirts looking for a little pick off. I ain't trying to be frontlining.
On my way. Ultimate is
We ain't trying to be frontlining on the old Awilix.
searching for target.
Make sure you're buying a sentry ward every single back. We got to make sure we keep our mid waves pushed out. Now this Heim is gonna go top right, so I'm gonna immediately try to follow in behind him. I saw that the Agni dash is down. I don't know if they have this warded. Hopefully we're gonna be able to get that kill right there on the Agni. I'm gonna jump over this wall right after the Suki ulti just to make sure that I don't get picked off by that. I unfortunately have my blink up, but I'm not going to be able to get it off because all these creeps in the mid lane. This Heim is just slapping right now, and I need to just go ahead and back right on out of this fight because if I die, they can definitely end the game. They might try to end the game regardless. Nike's still alive over with Vamana. And I think we held off long enough for them to just go for the fire giant. Now, right now, my team's going to be respawning in 40. Chances that I get this are pretty low. Ooh. Can't believe he got that swift turner. I'm going to pop my ulti, land an auto, a couple of feather steps, and we are going to pick up that kill right there, which is going to take a lot of their damage actually off the fire giant. I saw the Suki was going around long ways for me, and so I'm going to be able to back up over in the solo lane. Didn't steal the fire, but I did stop them from getting the fire by taking off their main source of damage dealing. So right there was an example of using your ultimate as the stim in root slow knock-up immunity. I knew that I was going to need a little bit of extra oomph to put down the Heim, so I pop it preemptively, get in a couple of bonus damage on my autos, bada bing, bada boom, smash them down with the feather set. Never worry about using it for that OP stim. It's really good. All right, right now we want to try to get out some deep wards. Unfortunately, Vamana's right here. Not one of the characters that I'm going to be able to just kind of walk at and put down. Should be able to counter his ward, though, without too much trouble. But the second that I basically counter his ward, I know they're going to come back with more counter wards. So I'm just going to start backing up and immediately go get myself another sentry. This is the part of the game where it just becomes the sentry ward battle over fire. Fire is going to turn into the enhanced fire at the 30-minute marker. Unfortunately, our Mulan is dead. We seem to always be a person down. If they wait on this fire giant until it becomes enhanced, we're going to be in a very, very hard spot. Luckily, they did not. They burned down the fire. It's still baby fire, which gives us an opportunity to actually defend against it. Get myself right on out of here. Gonna get ourselves an elixir of speed, just in case this game keeps going and we need to get that Mantle of Discord for that 6th item. So for Awilix around these Phoenix defense fights, we're looking to stand around the side of our Phoenix and looking for a knockup. Or trying to come behind them if we can. Chances are they're not going to let us just walk in right behind them. If Fafnir's going to walk up, though, and just take a bunch of damage, I'll take that for free. Unfortunately, I got hit by one whole Agni Bomb. So there goes half of my HP because I don't got a tank build and season 7. No tank build.
Your right Phoenix is under
We actually might be able to gank the... okay, we gotta be careful. The second that Agni dashes down, always be keeping your eyes out. If one of those squishies uses their movement ability, ooh, baby. It's squishy killing o'clock. They're gonna go grab the tier 1 and the tier 2 over in that left lane. I'm gonna clear out as many waves over and right that I can, just to prevent them from having extra pressure on different lanes. Second to clear this, though, I'm definitely gonna need to back because they're gonna go for that left Phoenix. Our Medusa's over clearing mid. She kind of has to be there. A couple of Agni Bombs down. Get rid of that sentry ward as soon as humanly possible. I'm still looking for the Agni. Now, Vamana's taking good damage, and we're gonna be able to put him down, which is very nice. I gotta watch out for this Suki ult. There's the Suki ult in the back, so I'm gonna go in immediately for Suki and just trying to help out the team put him down. Oh my goodness, he just can't be tamed. He's at 1 HP. If the Suki doesn't die here, that's probably the game. Too many abilities are being missed right now. They've got 4 people left alive. Luckily, we do have our Cuckoo. But I don't know if the Cuckoo, he might be able to defend by himself. It's gonna be close. They do have that Fire Giant regen. They're for sure he's gonna grab at least one more Phoenix. Oh my goodness, the Titan's gonna give the beat down on the Suki. I think that should stop them. Oh my goodness, not with all that Agni damage, is probably not though. That was a good Cuckoo one. No, they're gonna be able to end the game right here. So in that last little fight, there's just too many abilities that were missed at the old Phoenix defense. Nothing else too crazy right there. Just good old-fashioned aiming is what it came down to. But the idea right there, you sit on the side, you look for a quick pick on somebody. We looked for a knock-up on the Agni. Didn't hit the knock-up on the Agni. It hit him for the damage, but he wasn't turned around. Vamana rushes in too far. We've got our brawlers. We want to make sure that proc is on him. We smash him real quick. And then, of course, we saw that Suki going in the back line. So we tried to peel for our boys. But the Suki was just too darn tanky with that OP Season 7 meta build, guys. And that is your Awilix guide.